third dragon that spawns now will change the geography of the map. Infernal Dragon will break the walls of the dragon pit and destroy the areas near buffs, removing brushes. The fact that the third dragon... Before we delve into the specifics of dragons, a literal game changer is the fact that the third dragon that spawns now will change the geography of the map. Infernal Dragon will break the walls of the dragon pit and destroy the areas near buffs, removing brushes and creating new pathways through them. Ocean Dragon creates much more greenery across the jungle altogether. I thought it took just a little bit of water to grow some plants, but it's a video game after all. Mountain Dragon stirs things up and makes things rocky. New entrances and choke points are opened across the map, and the dragon pit's geography also changes. And Cloud Dragons create air currents that give speed buffs in the dragon pit as well as the jungle. Riot has stated that these geographical shifts shouldn't be too demanding on PCs, so if you're running a toaster or have some hamsters running marathons on their wheels, you'll still be in the green. Dragons still provide permanent buffs as well, but have been readjusted so that they all feel equally as rewarding. The numbers aren't set in stone yet, but as a quick note, both Rift Herald and Dragons are weaker and much easier to take now. Infernal Dragon is going to be staying the same, providing bonus attack damage and ability power. However, the buff itself is currently set for a nerf from this season, as it's been just too strong. Currently, it's sitting at 5% per stack. Ocean Dragon now regenerates a percentage of missing health every second. This is different from the old one, which would require you to be out of combat. Right now, it's 5% of your missing health per 5 seconds. Cloud Drake now provides cooldown reduction for ultimate abilities. Currently, we're looking at 10% per stack. Mountain Dragon now provides bonus magic resistance and armor. At the moment, it's 8% bonus MR and armor. In addition to these changes, a new feature called a Dragon Soul is being added as well. After a team slays their 4th dragon, they'll gain a Dragon Soul of whichever dragon they have most of. These also last for the rest of the game and have different properties based on which element they represent. So let's talk about Infernal Dragon Soul. Well, every 3 seconds, your next attack or damaging spell creates a small AoE explosion, dealing adaptive damage that scales with bonus attack damage, ability power, and bonus health. That last bit is going to be a nice change of pace for tanks who didn't really get much out of the buff previously. Now onto Ocean Dragon Soul. Ocean Dragon...
seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned. First blood.
I am a slave to this passion. Smiles, everyone. Smiles. This is my love. My critics are usually short-lived. My work is pure. There is art here. This ugliness.
An ally has been slain.
Let's start the show. You will perform. Only to the audience do I show my true face. Under these conditions.
Shut down. Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
I never hurt anyone. It is the performance that kills. My theater is the mind. Smile. Everyone is watching.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Happiness is a war. only during the performance.
Turret has been destroyed.
Your life had no value before me. I like a violent composition.
Has been slain. Destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Each bullet is a soul. Death should never be
Has been
great.
destroyed.
It should be an opera. They will dance. They will sing. They will die.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed. Your inhibitor is respawning soon. An ally has been slain.
I must wait until the composition is
Dragon Soul's change will be dealing damage triggers strong health and resource regeneration for 3 seconds. Damage to minions provides less regeneration. Okay, now on to Cloud Dragon Soul. With the Cloud Dragon Soul, you'll gain a burst of movement speed for 3 seconds after using your ultimate. You also have a passive 10% bonus movement speed as well. And finally, the Mountain Dragon Soul. After not taking damage for 5 seconds, you'll gain a shield that lasts until destroyed. The shield scales with bonus attack damage, ability power, and bonus health. Once a team claims a Dragon Soul, the next dragon to spawn is the Elder Dragon. Elder Dragon's buff no longer scales with previous dragons and has also been changed to an execute once opponents fall below a certain health threshold. Its true damage burn is still staying though, the bonus stats have just been traded for that juicy nuke. This execution can be avoided with Zhonya's or Zillion's ult, as there's an animation for it, but they can still be at risk of execution if they remain below that threshold if they get hit again afterwards. Okay, now let's discuss our analysts' thoughts on these changes. In spite of the fact that bot laners are receiving XP nerfs, they're going to remain relevant and arguably even more important. As a jungler, you'll need to heavily value pressuring your bottom lane to secure dragons, as the advantage a Dragon Soul provides is pretty invaluable. The dragon buffs themselves are a bit weaker, but the final return you receive on any of these Dragon Souls is huge. You're going to need to heavily adjust your play based on which dragons spawn, and especially make an effort to keep tabs on how many dragons your opponent has. This is extremely similar to the dragon from Season 5 for all you League veterans. Like then, each dragon is basically another step towards a ticking time bomb exploding. Trading turrets or making cross-map plays has been a viable counter strategy for a while now, and it still will be. However, you'll be much more limited on how many times you can make this trade now. Our analysts believed that previously trading a turret or Rift Herald for a single dragon was honestly more worthwhile in almost every case, but with these changes, it'll only be worth it in in two situations: if you can confidently stop your opponents in the attempts that they'll make, or if the first two dragons that spawn are identical and you immediately recognize that the soul the enemy team will gain isn't very valuable for them. An example would be if the enemy team has very low damage output and a second mountain dragon has spawned. In this scenario, trading and gaining more income will be more worthwhile because you'll still be able to out-team fight your opponents with item advantages. On the top side of the map, Rift Herald is seeing changes as well. She'll spawn much earlier at 8 minutes now and can also respawn 6 minutes after she dies the first time, as long as Baron doesn't spawn before that. This opens up a lot more counterplay on the other side of the map if one team decides to pitch a tent in the bot lane. Like we mentioned, the first trade of Rift Herald for Dragon will almost always be more worthwhile and at worst an equal exchange. Once you see which dragon spawns next, you'll be able to better determine whether you want to give that one up for a second Rift Herald or start contesting and putting a stop to your enemy's shenanigans. Alright, now let's talk about actual jungling now. We'll now have timers for every single camp across the map. This is a pretty controversial change, but at the end of the day, it's automatically something that players are fully capable of doing on their own. A bigger change in the jungle is going to be XP allocation. Krugs won't provide as much experience, and Gromp will provide some more, meaning that both sides of the map provide equal reward. Previously, it would be more optimal to farm red side jungle as often as you could, since the Krugs and Raptor camps were disproportionately more valuable. Equaling out the playing field means that junglers have more freedom to play around either side of the map. Jungle XP is being lowered, but camps are now set to respawn every 120 seconds instead of 150. From the words of Riot's balance team, this will overall lower the XP and gold gains from each camp by 5%, but increase the reward for power farming by 12%. Needless to say, this is going to change up the meta severely, making power farming junglers much more viable than before. Our analysts believe that specifically Karthus, Olaf, and Kayn will be even stronger. There are a few more champions, but we'll mention them in a second. These champions are already strong in the current meta because of their strong dueling alongside insane clear speeds. Compared to other power farming junglers like Master Yi and Shyvana, they can clear arguably faster, especially if they have blue buff handy. Another reason our analysts point out Karthus and Olaf in particular is the fact that blue side of the jungle is much safer to start on now. Both these champions rely heavily on blue buff, and they'll now be able to hit a fast level 3 unlike before if they want to take their most optimal route. Karthus and Kayn also have another helpful change coming their way as well. Last but not least, we need to talk about some changes to Summoner's Rift as a whole. The map itself is seeing some changes. Across Summoner's Rift, alcoves have been added to the top and bot lane, opening up more potential for outplays and diversity. They also open up some potential mix-ups for jungle ganks. Additionally, a couple of brushes have been added to the jungle, meaning there'll be some more fog of war to account for. These brushes are located across from the Dragon and Baron pits. The alcoves create more gank routes as well as room for mind games. For ganks, pathing through lanes is much more valuable now. Previously, you'd have to wait in the lane brushes until the minion waves would reposition themselves and give you a chance to slowly inch forward. Instead, you can now find more opportunities to creep into alcoves between waves and sneak behind your foes. Retreating into alcoves can also have several implications for both laners and junglers as they work together. After a successful or even a failed gank, you now have the option to retreat into an alcove to recall, or not. Since it's within such close vicinity to the actual lane, enemies will have to second guess whether or not you actually recalled, and honestly, they're right to err on the side of caution. It's also worth noting that dropping a ward into an alcove is suboptimal as it doesn't really provide much information. Laners can do the same thing as they retreat into alcoves and attempt to bait their opponents into pushing to set up ganks. While this was possible with rushes before, this is another mix-up that allows for some extra variety and spice. The reason that Kayn and Karthus will benefit from alcoves are different. For Kayn, he can naturally path through walls, sneak into them, and through them more easily than others can. With how narrow alcoves are, Karthus will absolutely crush 2v2 or 3v3 skirmishes inside of them, as his E is practically guaranteed to deal damage at all times. Finally, we'll talk about some champions that we think will be strong junglers next season as a result of all these changes. In addition to the champions we already mentioned, some other ones would be Nunu, Poppy, Echo, Kha'Zix, Amumu, Hecarim, and Nocturne. Nunu specifically is going to be a hot topic because of how important dragons are. He's one of the best junglers in the game at securing early dragons and providing some safety for his laners. So it's likely that his strength will translate into being a reliable champion for securing dragon souls. The increased XP on Gromp is also welcomed by him, as this is one of the camps that he clears the fastest and he won't have to spend as much time worrying over Krugs. Poppy, although a niche pick, is going to be a stronger pick as a result of the alcoves. Since they're so narrow, fights inside them will lead to very easy stuns. In similar fashion, Echo will also be able to control alcove skirmishes heavily with his W. Amumu, Hecarim, Nocturne, and Kha'Zix will also benefit heavily from the buffs to blue side jungle, as these are champions who often get pushed out of one side in losing matchups. Being able to get more out of blue side is great, as it'll now be easier to recover from a rough start. On top of this, these champions naturally want to farm pretty hard early on and generally want to push for a fast 6. Kha'Zix is also a great candidate for securing dragons with an early Q evolution, while the other champions will heavily benefit from a power farming route to hit a faster level 6 and come online earlier into the game. That concludes our video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want more content to help you guys improve in League of Legends, then go check out ProGuides.com.